Worst places to live in the UK. Blackpool. Is Blackpool really bad? That question begs our discussion in view of loads of negative reviews and low ratings of this large town in Lancashire. We found that it is the worst rated town in the UK, and we have discussed that in one of our videos. We have also seen that it's one of the worst seaside towns in England. One of the videos has highlighted that also. Blackpool has also been rated as one of the most depressed. Do all these mean that the town of Blackpool is one of the worst places to live in the United Kingdom? That is exactly what we are going to prove in this video. We shall be as objective as possible on this. Blackpool's great beginning. Our retrospective look at Blackpool will give us an idea of where the town is coming from. We can then take a more rational perspective when analysing it as one of the worst places to live in the UK. We have to travel in time way back to days before the start of railways, when seaside towns started growing. Indications are that the town had likely been settled around 11,000 years ago. A Roman coin believed to have been used around AD 80 was found in the town. Let's veer briefly into etymology and dialectology to exhume facts about the coinage of the town's name. There was a great discoloured water in that area a long time ago called Le Pool. As the waters flowed along, its discoloured streams draining Marton Mere and Marton Moss by peatlands. While running alongside this area, the stream created a pool. Naturally, the stream would reflect the colour of its water, which was seemingly black. It was draining into the sea near the location now known as Manchester Square. Hence, the pool was described as black. The location of that black pool was named Blackpool. That name first appeared in the 1602 baptismal register of Bispam Parish as Blackpool. The town was so famous in the past that the squire of Myerscough, Edward Tyldesley, who was the son of the royalist Sir Thomas Tyldesley, built Foxhall towards the end of the 1600s, the first building in the area. How did the entire area fare in those days and thereafter? Blackpool's year of glory. Anyone that saw images, moving or still, or read about this town in the 1870s would howl and groan because of its current condition. Is this not the same town with 4 large and prominent hotels that the affluent and wealthy in the society beyond the town were patronising? If there was anything like that, they could be rated 8-star hotels in those days. The year 1846 came with an event that aided the early growth of Blackpool. It had to do with the ease of movement brought about by the completion of a branch line from Poulton to Blackpool on the main Preston and Wyre joint railway route connecting Preston and to Fleetwood. Blackpool gained tremendously from the losses this brought to Fleetwood Resort. As the town started growing, there was an influx of travelling to the town via rail. Entrepreneurs who saw this as an investment opportunity started building accommodations, creating new attractions and setting up other businesses. This, in turn, increased the number of visitors and settlers. The cycle of growth was sustained throughout the 1850s and 1860s. Could you believe that the town was the first user of electric power? It's on record that Blackpool was the first municipality to have streetlights. This went a long way in reinforcing the town's status as the most prominent holiday resort in North England. Today, however, hardly would anyone see the traces of those glorious days. A lot of things in this town are no longer going well. Poor transport connections. The infrastructures of those centuries are no longer able to care for the realities of modern-day commerce and transportation, but then they haven't been maintained and have broken down. Now the only major motorway in Blackpool that links with the rest of the country is the M55. Other major roads there like the A583 that links it to Preston and Kirkham, the A586 linking it to Poulton-le-Fylde, and the A587 that links Blackpool to Fleetwood aren't trade routes and can't bring any development. There are other forms of transport services such as the Blackpool South Railway and the Blackpool Tramway, but they offer only epileptic and erratic services. Unexciting landscape and climate. One of the worst conditions of Blackwood that is running it down is its unexciting landscape. All you would see in most places is a view of a mile of sand that stretches out to a distant sea. When there are hills, mountains and valleys in a town, it makes it more beautiful. But in Blackwood, the land is flat. The only thing that can stand in for hills is a railway bridge. The flatness of the terrain might be affecting the climate. It appears that the clouds prefer to go over Blackpool and drop their loads on the Pennines. That seems to be why the town sees fewer rains than other areas of Lancashire. It's mild, tough and windy. As the seaside town's weather isn't so reliable, most tourists, even in the peak of tourism season, prefer not to go there. High unemployment, job instability rate, and poor remuneration. Decades ago, when the government saddled a number of agencies with the task of providing employment, these agencies were unable to get to the root of the problem of unemployment in the town, and austerity in the last decade or so has forced those jobs to be slashed. Since the business year October 2017 to September 2018, when the unemployment levels were slightly above the national average, the rates have continued to skyrocket. The gap between Blackpool's unemployment rate and the national average continues to widen. Since 2015, over half of the residents of this town have been on benefits. These benefit claimants aren't faring especially well because the authorities aren't generating enough funds to sustain the payment of such claims. Desperately looking for ways to reduce expenditures on social welfare, the council is redefining the qualifications to become claimants. Thus, these people remain in poverty with no apparent way out. The economic instability in the town is helping to make it one of the worst places to live. This is a seaside resort that tourists throng during summer. These would require several services in the tourism industry. There's usually mass employment of unskilled workers to support the seasonally booming economy. What happens off the season is a different ballgame. By this time, many areas of Blackpool would have taken on an appearance of a ghost town. Many shops, restaurants and bars and offices would have closed for business. Hence their workers have to be laid off. This takes the town back to its unemployment state. This cycle of job instability is an unequivocal invitation to poverty. The tourism and service sectors on which the town's economy is based can't sustain their momentum and retain their workforce for a whole year. Even the little jobs that usually remain aren't professional. That's why the average earnings in Blackpool by place of work are much lower than the national average. High crime rate. There is no gainsaying the fact that no one wants to live in a place with a high crime rate. In Blackpool, the rates of crime are higher almost every year than the national average each time you check. Though this is being downplayed as if it is within a manageable level, the issues the town has with drugs are not helping the matter at all. Anyone that visits the town or has lived there in recent years can't deny the fact that drug abuse is common there. The death rate from drugs is rivaling those of big cities, listed among the most dangerous to live in. The same is true with alcoholism. Young and employed people are seen all around binging and snuffing. Even pregnant women, not minding the condition of the baby in their womb, join in what they regard as a spree. When these people get high on drugs and alcohol, any slight provocation can cause them to resort to violence. The connection between crime and drugs or alcohol has been established beyond any reasonable doubt. This exposes the residents to diseases caused by excessive use of alcohol, smoking and drug abuse. This town has struggled with homelessness as explained earlier. That is why it is seen as a commuter town. Most of the homes there are of low quality. This explains the low demand for homes in the town. Therefore, don't get carried away with the low prices of homes in Blackpool. Is there any other thing you've noticed or learned about Blackpool being one of the worst places to live in the UK? Please share your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell. This is Learning Canteen.